coming down and blowing trees. Everybody know it's me. She's it, 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 she's it.
I said, what you got now?
M-A-R-S-H-E-L.
Got you.
Well, I've been being confused with Marshall.
You're probably one of the most well-known people.
I am.
Yeah, we all know you.
Yeah.
From services and from different people passing. Yeah. But the only time anybody has ever really seen you is at a service. Yeah. So even coming up from a little boy, like, that's the only time I ever seen you. Now, the first question we got for the people at home, what is your name and how do you pronounce it?
Okay, my name is William Marshall.
Okay.
That Marshall, M-A-R-S-H-E-L.
Got you.
Well, I've been being confused with Marshall.
That's not you.
That's not me.
You're Marshall.
Marshall.
I got you.
It's kind of like French.
Yeah.
Parents came from Barbados.
Really?
You know, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I've never been there.
No.
I was born here in this country, but they're from Barbados. There's two sisters, and my grandmother and mother raised me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was born out of wedlock. My father and my grandfather, they were about 30-some miles away from my town.
Wow, okay.
And
so when he took you, did you drive in the car?
My grandmother would take me everywhere with her, but she'd go all to the church revival.
You right there with her?
You know, I'm right there with her.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure.
Okay.
And after the revival, the next day, I would gather up all the kids in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And I would get one of these orange crates.
Yeah.
And go in the house and put my bathrobe on.
You about to have
I'll come back out and I'll have church.
Get out of here.
All the little kids in the neighborhood. Yeah, and I'd have church and I would try to imitate the preacher from the night before. And mum. Don't know what I'm saying, but whoa. Some of the senior citizens be looking out the window, and one lady, till the day she died, every time she saw me, she said, "That's my preacher."
That's my preacher. You've been doing this.
Yes. So you know, it's
Wow.
And it's been amazing, man. It's been amazing.
How old are you?
I'm 82.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people wouldn't have guessed that.
A lot don't. They'll tell me how young I look, but I take that with a grain of salt. You know?
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Black don't crack or something, man. It's true.
I was born in 1939. I've been here for a minute.
Quite a while.
Yeah.
You done seen a few different sunsets. I see you. Okay. Now, in these times of pandemic and environmental change, how you feeling health-wise?
I feel fine.
No problem.
I have a little arthritis, you know, but after you've had about 36 surgeries, but I do have a little equilibrium problem now, and I'm trying to work with that, but doing by calisthenics and been in this business for approximately 50 years now.
Right here in this town?
In this town, approximately 50 years. Well, I came here in 75. Okay.
Man, I wasn't even thought of 75. I'm born in 83.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Nobody was even thinking about me in
I've been here
1960.
since 75. And I remember coming home one evening in New York, and my sister came by. Bill, you always wanted to be a funeral director. She said, you can go to school now. GI Bill, they brought the GI Bill back.
They got money.
I said, what? She said, yeah, you can go to school. So the very next day, I jumped up and went down to the academy and got things straightened out. And the next class,
You in there?
Yeah. Wow. Not really knowing what I was going to do.
But it was an interest, so you followed.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And I could never forget it. My uncle had an uncle in New York, and he said, man, you sure you're going to make it to this school? I said, that was a rough school. But so many people graduate every year, you know. Wow. So it's rough. You know? So that kind of angered me a little.
Even doubted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember telling him, I said, but there is a class that graduates every year, don't they?
You gonna
He
be
said,
in there.
yes. I told him, well, I'll be in that class when they graduate.
Oh, man.
And really, that's the way it was. I graduated from high school in 1957. Wow. And then I went to New York. Well, during those years, we would go up to New York during the summer, spend 2 or 3 weeks, and we'd come back. And,
okay.
I've been to New York.
Good city.
18 years old at the time.
Really?
I had a problem, and my problem was never detected when I was in school, high school. I had a thyroid problem.
Really?
And I don't know if you're familiar with the thyroid gland, you know.
I've heard about like the bulging eyes or something
yeah,
that it does to
the
something.
bulging eyes.
Yeah.
And that was one of my problems. It was
Really?
real small in size.
Wow.
And then again, you could be overly large in size too.
Yeah, it goes both.
Yeah, and never knowing what my problem was, but I know I didn't have much interest academically in academics. I didn't want to study. I didn't want to do it. I barely got out of high school.
Wow.
And then getting out of high school, a gentleman who was a professor at the school that I went to saw me one day. He looked at my eyes and he said, Bill, you know, you remind me of a young lady that had this thyroid problem and her eyes were bulging out.
Yeah.
And he said, but when you go home, tell your mother to take you to the clinic and let him check you out.
Check your thyroid.
And naturally, you know, I told mother when I went home, and she took me to the clinic. The funniest thing about that, I've never seen anything like that. It was almost like after that surgery and I healed up and everything, it was like flipped. Like me not caring about everything.
Yeah.
Now I'm concerned about everything in the world. I want to know the answer to this question. I want to know the answer to that question. It was amazing. I had never seen anything like that, never heard of anything like that.
Just that change.
And so, in the interim, I went in the military.
Okay.
And most
What
of
branch?
What
branch? Army. Okay.
And most of my friends that was in the military, they were from Chicago area, Detroit, Indiana, Missouri. Most of them were high school dropouts.
Oh, wow.
Now, I'm supposed to be the gentleman with the high school diploma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got the papers.
I got the papers. But I could tell, even though I was a high school graduate, and they all were dropouts, I could tell academically they had more on the ball than I did.
Wow.
And that angered me.
Really?
You know, it really
they drop out and you graduated. But you know that
the quality of education were different. The South to, you know, other areas of the country.
Wow.
Now.
So it's always been like that though?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, especially with a condition like thyroid, you know, and when I got in school, when I got at the mortuary school, you know, and anatomy, specific anatomy and pathology, you know, I studied the thyroid gland carefully because that was my problem.
You, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And what I really found out is that the thyroid gland is no larger than the nail on your small finger. But it controls your mind, your entire mind. You'd be surprised. But the pituitary gland is the master gland of the body. But the thyroid gland is like second to the pituitary gland, if I'm not mistaken.
When it's
and it governs your whole thinking. Whoa.
It made you not even care about.
And I didn't even care prior to the surgery. I didn't care if the sun shined fine.
Really?
If it didn't, it was basically okay with me. But that was the sickness.
Wow.
And I'll tell people now, if you got a child and they got a thyroid problem and, you know.
Check into that.
Which is basically, along with thyroid comes the ADD, attention deficit disorder.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a child with a thyroid problem, ADD is hanging around there somewhere.
In there.
Somewhere. I graduated from The American Academy McAllister Institute of Funeral Services, that's in the city of New York.
Okay.
I graduated in 1970.
Okay.
And upon graduation, I left New York. I graduated in March. I left New York in July. Wow, in July. Bag and baggage.
Done.
After having lived in New York for about 17 years.
You came straight to the country?
From the country to...
From the city to the country.
From the country to the city.
Oh yeah, and back to the country.
Yes, you know,
Now, question: do you have children of your own or any adopted children?
I have children of my own.
How many boys? How many girls?
I have two boys, one girl.
2 boys, 1 girl.
My oldest child was born when I was like in high school.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't even know how to make a baby. I knew a gentleman that was from my home who lived in Columbia at the time, and he was the maitre d' at this huge hotel.
Okay.
The Columbia, it used to be the Columbia Hotel, and this is where all the celebrities from University of South Carolina and all
Everybody
they
stop
would
in
come,
there.
you know.
Okay.
So I got a job there waiting tables.
Nice.
I used to make the supper meal and the breakfast meal sometime. All depends on how much get.
I had a few jobs, man.
Beach play. I went on the golf course as a caddy master. I was at some of the larger hotels as a bellman. You know,
Man, you done did some things.
I've done, well, I grew up doing all these things, you know, when I was young. You know, man. I was living off campus. You know, I had a little money in my pocket. Had a car to drive. You know,
all right. Okay, I see you.
So I was doing fine. But then, this was also during the time when they began the sit-in demonstrations.
Oh.
Maybe she's one of those techie pixie type dudes who makes house calls.
Hey, what's your language?
You know I'm just playing with you, but come on, put a rush on. Clock's ticking, okay?
You get rid of all the black waiters and hire white waitresses.
Oh, really?
Because they thought they were going to have a problem with the sit-in demonstration.
sit-in.
So
They messing with your money right now.
they messed with my money.
Yeah.
But then again, God is good.
God is good.
God is good.
Okay.
I left, went back to New York,
Okay.
got married.
Wow.
You know,
Really?
started a family.
Really?
And then from a kid, I always wanted to be a funeral director.
Really?
My father was, my grandfather was, but that's not why I wanted to be a funeral director. I wanted to be a funeral director because in my hometown, Georgetown, there was a funeral director. His last name was Wiles.
Okay.
He was so professional. He was so everything.
Okay.
You know, they said whenever he had a funeral, he said when that funeral was pulling up to the church, you knew that was Wiles.
That was
There was
Wiles.
something about him.
Yeah.
And that was who I liked to pretend to be.
Yes.
Even with my conducting of the funeral services, when I graduated from the academy and served my internship, my apprenticeship, I went to a funeral home in Sumter,
Okay.
known the Palmers.
Palmers.
And they were about the best in the funeral business, period.
Wow.
And that's where I got my training from.
Okay.
That's where I got my
I
training
got
from.
you. I got
When you
you.
see me
Yeah.
conduct a funeral,
Uh-huh.
you see the
The
Palmers.
palms.
You know,
Okay. That's how they did it.
That's how they did it.
Wow.
And when I first got there, man, I watched them and I said, "This is amazing, man."
Yeah.
The way they would get up and do the mortician brief in the church, and I never seen that before. I said, "Wow,
Professional.
and I got to master this, man." You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it takes a little bit of everything,
Yeah, man.
and so that's how I got in the profession and everything, and I was determined.
You couldn't be
When I
stopped.
went to, nobody could have stopped me to get in my way. They would get hurt.
There you go. You're in a man that's taking no. I respect.
From a kid, I always wanted to be a funeral director.
Yes,
I
sir.
used to clean my little cars on the front porch of our home in Georgetown that I was the funeral director, right?
We're pulling up.
Man, listen, I had it going on. I had that little city on my front porch. I was doing my thing.
Get out.
But never really feeling that I was going to ever go to school, you know,
and do.
Yeah. Amazing story of my life, you know. It's had a lot of ups and downs, you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't the best kid out on the block, you know.
But really, man?
Yes.
Like people would believe that you've been doing this from the beginning. You've been in a lot of different ways.
I say to some people every now and then, I said that if you were to take a picture of my entire class in high school and take it to any one of my instructors and say who on this picture would be least successful in life, I said everybody would point at me.
Really?
Really. Everybody would have pointed at me because of that thyroid gland, I didn't care.
You didn't care at all.
It really didn't bother me.
Wow.
If the sun shine, fine.
That's really how you felt.
That's how I felt.
Wow.
When it come to cutting class and going down the hall or going around the corner for a smoke.
You're good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that. That's how we roll.
Get out of here, man.
But it was amazing. It was amazing. But you know, God is good.
God is good, man. Take it from a mighty long way.
Believe me.
Wow.
When I left Fort Sumter, what I was telling you, I was making the transition from back to Georgetown.
Right.
And I remember coming down to Georgetown to put in an application in a little town known as Andrews.
Okay, I know Andrews.
Okay, so I stopped by to see the funeral director there because I knew him, you know.
Yeah, right.
So he said to me, he said, you know, I sit on the board with a gentleman from Penn Center, and he does the books for Mr. Wright and Mr. Donaldson.
Yeah.
And they're thinking they have nobody to take the business over, and they're thinking about selling the business to somebody who's been about 2 or 3 days. He called me.
Wow.
He said, I just spoke with Smitty last night, and he wanted to invite us down to come down and talk with him, you know.
Yeah.
And he said, when will you be ready to go?
Yeah.
I said, tomorrow.
Yeah, let's go. You ain't playing.
I said, tomorrow.
Let's get on
that
down.
was the beginning of the negotiations.
Really?
You know, it wasn't just negotiating, because they could sell the funeral to anybody. I had to make them like me.
Right.
I used to come down and spend the weekend down here.
Get out of here.
You know, his wife was AKA. My wife was AKA.
Perfect. I got a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
them
you
sisters
know,
already.
everything just worked, you know, and I worked that thing, man. I got a couple of guys had funeral homes, so they didn't need to bid that kind of money. If they got it for $60,000, fine.
Fine.
If they didn't get it, they got a funeral home.
That's fine.
But I didn't have one. I had to have it.
You had to have it.
I had to have
My man.
So you know,
Yeah.
I bid beyond what I thought any of them would have bid.
Wow.
I bid like pretty close to 100.
Really?
Yes, indeed.
That ran them right off.
And the funniest thing is that trying to prepare myself for this business and try to save a little money and we ain't had no money. We ain't had no money. See, I went through the SBA. If you asking for $100,000, you got to have about 10% of that.
Yeah.
Cash, you know, to show
collateral.
Yeah. And I didn't have it, but you know what? I knew I would get it.
There you go.
I didn't know where it was coming from.
There you go, but they're coming.
I knew it was coming.
He said, I ain't know where it was coming from, but I know it's coming.
I had no doubt.
It was going to happen. You wanted it.
So after negotiating, and I would come down to Beaufort to spend 3 days with Mr. Wright and Mr. Donaldson. They would go over things with me, and you know, I kept in contact. You know,
Get close.
And then so I remember when after I made the bid, you know, I'm waiting to hear from them to see whether they're going to accept my bid or
Go another way or what?
another way. So they called me and told me, they wrote me a letter, said that they were accepting my bid. Now, I did all of that to get here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, I get scared.
After all that.
All of that, I'm
scared.
scared now. And my thing is, I don't know put it out.
got the business now.
I said, yeah.
And now you
I
scared.
said, I don't know nobody beautiful. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know if I can make it there. You know?
After
And,
you
you
done
know,
won the bid.
and all of a sudden, it seemed as if God appeared and said, I'll never leave you alone. And I jumped up from that desk and I got ready to come down here with my chest out. And I wasn't wearing but one thing from that day until this very day.
Wow.
Because if God told me that he would never forsake me or leave me alone,
You ain't got nothing to worry
I
about.
ain't got nothing to worry about.
Wow.
If y'all can beat that, go ahead.
One question I got for you is, how many grandchildren do you have?
I have 3.
3 grandchildren. 4 grandchildren.
5.
5 grandchildren. The number good. The number good. The number good.
You know, over the years, I've had a tendency that it don't. My son and Augusta doesn't always come to mind right away, but he's got 2.
He got 2.
He got 2.
Okay. There's 3 already. You keeping track of?
Yeah,
Got you.
I got 3 with my daughter and my son.
Okay.
No, I got 4. No. Yeah, 4 with my daughter and my son.
And 2.
And 2, 6.
6 grandchildren.
Now my daughter, she is a nurse, so she does work at one of the nursing homes on Hilton Head.
Okay.
My son-in-law is he's into this culinary,
chef.
and chef and all
Got you.
that.
Okay.
But he did go to embalming school. I thought I was going to make a film director.
Right.
But, you know, he went to
another
embalming
way.
school and went to embalming school and came out with high grades of anybody in the class.
Really?
He got more awards than anybody. I went to graduation.
Really?
He came out here and couldn't do nothing. He ain't want to do nothing.
He ain't want to do
He
nothing.
ain't want to
with
do nothing.
it? Wow.
Tell me he got a bad back. He can't
Right.
live.
Back.
Man, I was so
Come out with
disappointed.
double problems.
I was so disappointed.
Oh,
you
you
know?
thought you had one right
I thought I
there.
had one wrapped up in my head.
Oh,
Because my
man.
son in California, he really doesn't want to do this, you know.
Okay.
And my daughter, she doesn't.
Yeah.
So I figured, well,
Right.
he's next in line.
And he done went to the school. He don't want no problem.
Did so well in school. I just knew I was going to I had a
You thought.
you know,
Went another way.
another way. I couldn't wake him up at night to go get somebody if somebody died, man. He tell me his back hurt.
It's
You
his
know,
back hurt, man.
He wasn't ready for this.
Yeah.
And I would say to him all the time that, you know, this is really not for you.
You got to be ready.
You got to be ready for this.
Man.
This isn't for you. So
Yeah. Now, to the rest of us, the general public, now when we hear about somebody that passed, we immediately think about the last time we talked to them, the last time we seen them. And it's almost hard for us to even grip that a person has passed, because I know anytime I hear about somebody that passed that I knew, it's like, it can't be. I just talked to him. I just seen him. But when you hear about somebody that passed, how do you think?
death is inevitable.
True.
you know.
And for a lot of people, it's hard for us to even.
It is, and I can understand.
Yeah.
You know, but it's we, you know, you're it's sort of automatic. You know how to deal with that personally. Yeah.
Okay. And is it like over time, it's just something that you get better at dealing with, or from the
I
beginning?
think from the beginning,
You
know this is what you're gonna do.
You got the nerves for it, or you don't.
Right. Even
Gotcha.
when you're in school, you know, this is what talked about every day.
Wow.
Death and dying, and
Wow.
you're prepared. They prepare you
Yeah.
in many ways.
Yeah, for
They don't
this.
even take you to the morgue to do work at the morgue until you was there.
Really?
Until you're in your third quarter.
Really?
No, you got to get the academics,
They've been drilling this.
drilling this stuff.
Getting
to
your
you.
mind ready.
Now,
Okay.
when they feel that your mind is ready, then they turn you loose.
Turn you loose.
So,
Got you. Now,
So that is psychological, but this is how it works. This is how it works. And I've never had a problem with death.
never.
Never. When I was much younger, I did, but after growing up, I never had a problem with death. I remember we lived, when I coming home from cross town, I had to come through a street, there's a cemetery on this side and one on this side. I had to come through those two cemeteries.
To get home.
Man, as soon as I hit it, I started running.
Everybody run.
But that was then, and it's and I look back at a lot of things now, and I've adjusted to it all.
Gotcha.
And in fact, it's almost like this is my love.
Really?
Like you heard the expression, I eat it up with a big spoon.
Yeah.
This is just me.
Wow.
When I'm called to serve a family, I tell people all the time, even if I'm serving a family and I'm in my office and this family could be low with funds, and you can see the disappointment in their face, and you know they don't know how they're gonna make it.
How they gonna do?
They really don't know.
Yeah.
But my greatest joy comes when I say to them, I'll work with you, whatever your situation is.
Wow.
We'll get it done.
Wow.
And see that burden before for them.
You see it. Wow.
It's a joy.
Gotcha.
And I tell people this sometimes, they say, well, man, I'm sure glad that's you, because
I'm glad that's you.
I understand.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah, man.
And I've said when I first came down here, I said at the end of the year, I've been able to take care of my family, keep the business afloat.
Yeah.
And I got $1 more in my account than I had last year.
You're doing all right, you said.
God's been good to me.
God good to you, man.
God's been good to me.
So enough.
And that's just me.
Yeah. With TV and media, they always make like Death and the Undertaker seem like the scariest people in the world, man. Now I can remember being a little boy, and you would come to these funerals, and it just felt like you was like 12 foot tall, man. And when you would talk, your voice just seemed like the deepest tone I ever heard. So my mind would just run wild. But you got grandchildren, you got children, you got regular family like everybody else got family. Is there people in your family who look at you like their favorite cousin or their favorite uncle or?
Well, I became everybody's favorite cousin.
What a business though, everybody.
Everybody. I go back to Georgetown now, man. I'm Cousin Bill.
They know you when you
I'm
see
Cousin
you.
Bill, yeah. They ain't even feel that way when I was there.
Oh.
Well, I told you I was one of the rough ones that was there, but
now you come
it's
back.
different. But that's people.
Yeah.
That's
It's always been like that, huh?
It's always been that way.
Wow.
If they feel within themselves that you somehow did okay.
You all right.
Cousin.
That's my cousin now.
That's my cousin.
They came in there.
Now before they weren't your cousin.
I don't know him. I don't know him that one. That's my cousin now.
That's the joy of life sometimes.
I got you, man.
Yeah, man.
You see him change.
Yeah, man. Just to see him change,
Wow.
And it happens.
Get out of here.
It happens, yeah.
Wow.
And grandmother who raised me, my mother was there, but my grandmother, she was just strong.
Oh.
That taught me what integrity is all about.
Got you. Built character from the beginning.
I might have gone out there and did wrong, but it wasn't that I wasn't taught.
You know better.
I know better.
Yeah.
I knew better.
You made decisions.
And no matter what I did, I
You
knew
know
better.
better.
I remember my grandmother I used to go around with her sometime, and when I get to back in the days, the older people, they walk around the block, and And they had no radio and no telephone and all that to communicate. They walk around, talk to each other's house.
Yeah.
And I would always with my grandmom. And when we got to the house where I'd be in the yard playing with other kids and they'd be on the porch talking, I used to hear her. And she was telling them, you see that boy out there? That boy can clean up the house better than any one of them girls.
Really?
I used to tell my mama, come here, don't say that no more.
That boy can say anyone to girl.
Don't say that no more.
Don't tell him that.
It was always funny, but
You
that
don't want
was
that out there. Like.
I didn't want that out there like that. But you know, it's good to get laughing these days, man.
Yeah, man.
But yeah. Yes. Hey, Al, what? Hey.
Man, I thought the night was Thursday night. I don't know how in the hell I lost the
The night is Wednesday. Yeah, you think about a football game on Thursday night, but the night is Wednesday. But Eddie, done you still get the sandwich and come on up? Okay.
I went to Savannah today.
I went to Savannah today too.
I bought the sweet rolls for you.
I know. I went to that bakery today too.
Oh, you did?
I did, but I didn't really care for them sweet rolls like you told me they were. So I had to go buy Krispy Kreme and tighten up.
They didn't have no sweet rolls?
They had them, but man, they can't really compete with Krispy Kreme, man.
Well, I thought the goddamn sweet rolls was on the way. I bought you two.
Yeah, but I got some here.
I called myself was going to surprise you. You know?
Yeah, I know. I took a bite of that thing and said, wait till I see Al. Well, they were okay, but you know, maybe I'm just hooked on Krispy Kreme. You
I
know.
like Krispy Kreme too. You know? They're big, but I didn't see some now. They cook them every day.
I see that. I saw the people that was in there buying them. Now they were in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't kid about that. They were in there buying them. Yeah. Okay, well, come on, get the sandwich and come on.
All right, I'll be there.
Okay. That's my first cousin.
That's all right. See, man, people ain't even know you eat things like Krispy Kreme
Oh,
donuts.
love it, man.
People don't know nothing. People know nothing. The only time they seen you is at the service.
Yeah,
like, people don't know. You eat regular things like Krispy Kreme, and you love Krispy Kreme.
Love them.
Said, I love it.
I love Krispy Kreme. I go to Durham. I go to Duke University for medical treatment a lot of things, and I come through. We do 95. You know, when I get to Florida, the only Krispy Kreme from here to Durham, North Carolina, is in Florence.
Oh, you got to stop there.
I got to stop, man. Normally I'm going by too early in the morning to get up, but we come back, we stop.
You stop
Like
there.
I will not eat until I get back to Krispy Kreme, man. I don't want to be too full.
Okay,
I want my Krispy Kreme.
This off topic, but what's your favorite from Krispy Kreme? What would you get from Krispy Kreme when you go?
That's the glazed donuts.
Hot glazed donut.
That's me.
That's you.
And I like them when they're hot.
So
There's
when
a
that
certain
hot light
time
on,
you got to know when to hit those places.
yeah,
6 o'clock in the morning, after 6 o'clock in the evening. That's Savannah.
you on top of this.
Now, Florence, if we can hit there sometime after, right around 3 or 4 o'clock,
You're good.
when they get that batch out. Good, man.
Fresh hot.
And I got it. I can eat 12 of them if it's hot.
You like Krispy Kreme.
Y'all love them.
You love them,
I
man.
love 'em,
You
man.
ain't playing, man.
Because let me tell you, when I used to have a paper run. I was growing up in school.
How many jobs you done had?
I didn't know how to do nothing but work.
Man, you work.
But not hard now. I ain't doing hard work.
Okay.
And I would, my bicycle always had a problem with the bicycle. The chain would pop.
Always something.
The tire was rubbing up against the frame too hard.
Good Lord.
You know.
Yeah.
And
Working with
so
you
one time, oftentimes I would walk my route. Because my route was like Bay Street, back on the point, all back there.
Okay.
See, Georgetown is much like Buford.
Oh.
So I was to get my papers from Belt's store in the morning. You know, we go out there 5:30, 6 o'clock.
First thing.
Fold the paper, get it in the bag. And then I would walk down the left side, the right, and then come back up.
Wow.
Then I would work the boulevard.
Toss
And
some
then the
papers.
bakery would still be open. The bakery open early in the morning. They
Early.
be fixing up them donuts.
You
know.
walking through.
But here, what we used to do as kids, you know, the hot donuts and all that, me and them, we used to get 10 cents worth of yesterday donuts. You understand? You give them more.
Mo. You just want to eat donuts.
I just want to eat donuts.
You said give me 10 cents worth of
Yesterday
donuts.
donuts.
Give me
That means
more.
you get about 6, you know.
Wow.
You know, but if you get 10 cents with the dead donuts, you might
fresh.
get 1.5.
Oh, no.
You get 6.
That 6 is way better.
Yeah, man.
You love
And
donuts from a
and
long
I put it in
time.
my bag, you know.
Carrying donuts.
And I carry my donuts and go down the street. And back in that time, when people got milk, the milkman the truck would go down the street and they would drop off 4 bottles of milk at this house, 5 bottles of milk at that house.
Yeah.
That's the way they deliver milk
Send
in the
milk
morning.
out. Okay.
You know, and I would
Well,
walk up.
milkman.
Yeah, man. I'd walk up to the house and throw a paper on the porch, get a bottle, put it in That was
you was something
that
else,
wasn't
man.
steal. That wasn't steal. That was just take it.
That was just taking.
And I would go down the street drinking my milk and donuts and throwing my paper.
Throw your paper.
Yeah, when I got around, completed my route, man, it was time to come home and get ready for school. You know,
Wow. You did all this before school.
Before school.
Wow. Man, you work.
Before school.
You work.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, now tell
And it
me.
wasn't a thing where, you know, your parents make you work and you
wanted to work.
And everybody had a hustle.
Gotta make money.
You gotta make money, man.
Yeah,
You don't
man.
be anything. You know, parents can't give you money all, you know.
You got to go get it.
I didn't get money to get that little lunch at the school. That wasn't but a quarter or something like that.
No, you had to go make some money.
I had to go make some money.
Man.
I would, yeah, you had to hustle. You had to hustle, man.
You done had a lot of jobs.
I had a lot of jobs.
You didn't work hard.
I know hard. I
But
ain't
you had a
work
lot of
hard,
jobs.
man. I ain't never worked hard.
I ain't
man.
work hard. Man.
Had a lot of money.
My man. Now, Mr. Marshall, people say that there is no way that ghosts and spirits could be real. People say there's no way ghosts and spirits could be real because if it was, all of the slaves would have terrorized white people. White people would never be able to get a night's sleep. Are ghosts and spirits real in your experience that you have had in this profession? No. You ain't never seen a cup fall off your desk.
No.
Ain't no papers ever.
I've so said to people, I said, you know, I wish I could
Really?
talk to them and they, you know,
In 50
if I could get
years.
them to talk, if I could talk to them and make them do things, a lot of things I wouldn't have to do. I would tell them, I told a guy, I would say, hey, put your coat on.
You got time. You put your clothes on.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh, put your coat on. Man. Oh, my God.
No,
Get dressed
but
real quick.
you know, everybody got those little things. And I remember I was just saying, I don't know about that, man, but I wish I could run up into somebody sometime. And like they say, they go this place and they see spirit. And
You
I
never.
walk in places and say, I hope I see them.
Really?
I mean, I just want to see them
them,
until this
right.
very day.
Right.
I wish I could just.
In 50 years of the business, you've
You ain't
never.
never seen nothing funny thing that happened to me. And this was before I ever came to Buford. I remember back in 73. No, you don't remember.
I came in 83.
I think that was the heaviest snowfall we had in the state of South Carolina for years.
In 73.
73.
Wow.
About 73, 72.
Early 70s.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would because the snow didn't bother me, you know. I lived about a half a mile from the funeral home, and I would walk down there in the snow. And I remember just before that snowfall, I had to go and run the rural area to pick somebody up.
Okay.
It was a female, and we brought her back. And me, I like to do my bombing right quick. As soon as I bring them back, I like to jumped right on and started
Immediately.
doing the embalming.
Okay.
And I never will forget. She was like, you know, when I embalmed from up here at the carotid artery and the jugular vein, I
Okay.
drained from the vein and injected in the artery.
Wow.
And I had the scalpel to make the incision to lift the artery and vein.
Right.
And when I cut like that, when I made the incision, she said, "Whew," just like that, you know. And I looked at her and I said, you know, it's a good thing I know what's happening here because I would have knocked that door down. I said, I would have knocked that door down, but you know, I knew that was a chemical reaction, you know.
Oh.
But anybody else,
Yeah.
and that's how stories get around, you know.
Wow.
From people who work at a funeral home and they go out and say, man, this happened and that happened. And people say, yeah, because he worked there, so he must know.
Wow.
But all that stuff don't be happening. I welcome the opportunity for some things to happen because I like to see.
Yeah,
But
you interested.
I just stood there and laughed because I said, man.
And then you would
I
have
said,
took
if
off
I didn't know what was happening, I would have knocked that dude out.
Wow.
But nah, I've never had anything. I've never had. I think oftentimes when people see spirits and all that, that's in their mind.
They got their mind mixed
Yeah,
up.
their mind mixed
See,
up.
all right, now a lot of people burn sage behind spirits or presence that they feel. A lot of people do these different things in their environment. Do you ever do any of those stuff? Or
The only thing when I first came here, well, you know what this neighborhood was all about.
Yeah,
You know?
magic.
So when I first came here, Mr. Donaldson, he was one of the owners. And he said, you know, as long as you're here, you're going to get some strange requests sometime, you know.
Really?
And I said, really? And he went on to explain to me where people would bring things to you and say, put this in the casket, put this in the sleeve,
Right.
in the right hand of the sleeve. You know, I've been to some witch doctor, so
Yeah.
they'll wrap up something and say, you take that to the funeral,
Put that in
put
there.
them in the sleeve.
Wow.
And we're going to get rid of that little problem, whatever.
Whatever, yeah.
But really, so Mr. Donaldson said to me, he said, you know, he said, I don't believe in all that, but they tell me, if you believe in it, it'll work. I said, really? He said, yeah, they say it'll work if you believe
If you
in it.
believe.
If you believe in it, you know. So, and I've had a couple people come to me and say, hey, do me a favor, man. They'll always pull you to the side, you know. They ain't want to know their business.
Yeah.
And they said, man, when they do believe, you put this up your sleeve, you know. I never remember the last one I did. It was in a little brown bag, about that long, up with some branches or something.
Yeah.
And he said, you take this and put it under his left sleeve.
Left sleeve.
And the coat sleeve.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. He left. I pushed it right up under the coat sleeve.
That way you asked for.
That's what he had to.
Wow.
And
You don't believe in none of this stuff and ain't never seen.
I ain't never seen anything that would make me understand that.
I knew it was TV, man.
I told somebody one day, I don't know if you remember Dr. Wally.
Wally.
He was out there, she going to Gardens Corner.
Okay.
Dr. Wally, you know that
Out there in
part?
Bowls?
Bowls.
Yeah, I heard this
Dr.
name before.
Wally.
I heard this name before.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
When he died, you know, and
Now, is that the person who casket flew out into the intersection? Okay, that's somebody else.
I don't remember.
I done heard some old stories, man. I've been around some old people. I don't even know if that ever happened. But you know, by the time the story get to the country,
It's a different.
yeah, ain't no telling what that
Yeah.
happened, man. Okay.
Yeah, but no. But I remember when Mr. Wally died. That
Okay.
service station right on the corner up down.
Right across from Greyhound, where you
Yeah.
right there.
You see that
Okay.
little brick building?
Yeah,
There'd be
right
a
there.
whiskey store.
Okay.
There'd be a whiskey store.
Wow.
Your Poochie Daddy was running that whiskey store.
Uh-huh.
And I used to go up there and talk with him all the time. And then in one of the back rooms back there is where some of the fellas together.
Yeah. Okay.
They sell Bill Bear back there and they gather
Nice.
back there.
Okay.
So I went in there one day and I told him the day that Dr. Wally died. I said, now, if y'all want to know anything, You better ask me now so I can ask him. Because once I unbomb him, I can't get my And they thought they would fall out, man.
Yeah.
They thought they would fall out.
You better ask me now.
I said, if you want to know anything,
Ask
you
now.
better ask me now because when I go back to the funeral home, I'm going to bomb him.
It's over with
And
then.
I'll ask him and he'll give me the answer. But I said, if you wait till after I'm bombing me, I can't get nothing out of it.
So I can't
Oh,
get nothing out of there.
they thought they would fall out and die.
Man, stop.
Yeah, but there used to be a restaurant, Shawnee's.
Shoney's, I remember Shoney's.
Okay, Shawnee's used to be right on the corner.
That's a good macaroni salad.
Yeah. and we used to meet there in the morning and have breakfast one night.
You,
Me,
Dr. Buzzard,
and
Baby Washington.
The three of us used to meet. And I called myself picking Dr. Buzzard.
Yeah.
I said, now, let me say something to you, Doc. I said,
Doc.
well, we had a good relationship.
Yeah.
We were friends.
Yeah.
I said, I would ask him questions. I said, if somebody come to you and say so and so is happening and this is happening, what you do?
What you do?
I said, what you tell them?
Yeah.
And he would say, he go and explain things to me and talk to me. Yeah,
Really?
we're friends that way.
Wow.
You know, so I told him, I said, now let me tell you what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, normally when people come out of town and they want to see the doctor,
Okay.
they know they can come by a funeral home and they're safe.
Wow.
They'll find out where the doctor is.
Wow.
See, it's been that way all for years.
Really?
People going to come, if they want to come and see the root doctor,
You come to the
they
funeral
come,
home.
just go to the funeral home. And the funeral home will know.
Wow.
And so I would always send him out there to him.
Wow.
And sometimes I send him back out to Dr. Wiley.
Right.
Yeah, and so I told him, I said, now, here's what I'm going to do. See, I said, I'll be asking you these questions because I want to know.
Yeah.
I said, because the next person come to me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say, give me that $700.
Let me tell you exactly what to do.
Give me that $700 and then tell me your problem. I'll take care of it. He thought he would die.
I'm gonna give me that 700.
Yeah, but he thought he would die, but we were friends that way. You know,
Wow.
we would kid around, you know. I
Wow.
say people, I say, you know, they always thought that I was doing the same thing you do, and you see I had a Jerry curl, and my hair was coming down the back, and they just thought of me as one of y'all.
You clean like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
He said, Marshall,
Wow.
he said, Marshall, you crazy, man.
But I'm asking you because I'm learning.
I'm like, yeah.
Give me that $700. That's a good little move there.
Next time they come up here and want to know where you at, I'm going to say, where you need.
What is
I'm going to say where you need. 'Cause I do the same thing. I do the same thing he do.
I do the same thing. What you need?
Give me that $700.
Oh my goodness.
He
Oh.
said, Marshall, you are crazy.
Sure
that
enough.
was our little joke, you know. But
Mr. Marshall, I can almost guarantee you that for $1 million in this town, not one person will believe that you are funny. We've been laughing this whole time. Nobody is going to believe. Good thing we got this. Because nobody is going to believe this. Wow, man. This is completely, this is completely different.
I can be dignified when I want to.
Sure,
you know?
no. Yeah, man.
But yeah, man.
Wow.
I've made many friends here in this town since I got here. And you know, a lot of people, we just connected when I got here.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Good people.
And all that was a part of what God said to me. I'll never leave you,
you.
and I'll forsake you.
Wow.
And I jumped up out there and I went up, came out and put my chest out.
So with your chest
I
out.
was ready for the action.
I'm ready for the action.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes, sir. Let's get it on, you know.
Thank you.
But it's just been a marvelous experience being out here. You know, it's just a marvelous thing, you know. And I couldn't ask for anything better.
Man, this has been a fantastic interview. I got no more questions. I wish I had more questions. I didn't expect all of this, man. I'm going to tell you, Mr. Marshall, I had no idea. I would have had more questions if I knew that you was funny. I didn't know. Nobody ever said this. I didn't know. Nobody ever said this. Never, man. You're giving a completely different perspective to people right now, I'm telling you. Thank you for doing the interview. Yeah, man. Thank you.
I'm happy that y'all did it. You know,
Yeah,
Definitely.
thank you.
Definitely. Once we get everything edited and everything, we'll send it over to you all so you can see what it looked like.
Okay, appreciate
Yeah, man. Thank you.
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was great.
Yeah.
I
Man.
don't care about that. Money is okay
Uh-huh.
when it's put in the proper perspective.
True.
You know.
Yeah.
And I've always said, if I'm to have money in the future and get rich,
Yeah.
or whatever, I'll take care of that.
Sure
I'm
enough.
doing what I got to do.
On the way.
That's all.
Man.
That's
man.
Tuning in. Always put God first. Always believe in yourself and realize that other people might not know what you can do, or might not believe what you can do.
Gotta ride with it,
As long as God with you, can't be stopped.
money out
Can't be stopped.
Summertime and shit, fast money, fast bitches, thug living, drug dealing. Now I done been posted up on the block with them killers. Niggas that don't be bullshitting, it's all about the skrilla. Chopping, cooking, trying to work towards $1 million. Working the trap, front to back, weed and dope dealing. Got an eye on the law, but not all day, cause I ain't fearing them. I gotta sell these rocks, get them off, cause I ain't carrying them. Low cack struggle, so I chose to hustle. And when I made a decision, most of my niggas stayed the fuck in. A few left me, but it's all to the goody good. I grind with fellas that get wild in they hoodie hood. Kick dope pullers on the runners and dope pushers. I represent for my niggas that think they home is the prison. Doing biz for niggas taking life sentences. Ain't no snitches, trafficking and killing. Say that we Christian, is how we live it. Gangsta, keep my oath to the end and ain't no question. Young thug forever with my niggas till I put the rest with gangsta. Gangsta, thug niggas, how we live it. Gangsta, gangsta, thug niggas, how we live it. Gangsta, gangsta, thug niggas, how we live it. Fast money, fast bitches, thug living, drug dealing. Gangsta, gangsta, thug niggas, how we live it. Gangsta, gangsta, thug niggas, how we live it. Gangsta, gangsta, thug niggas, how we live it. Fast money, fast bitches, thug living, drug dealing. Fast money, fast bitches, keep a nigga moving, grinding 24/7. Cousin, doing what I'm doing, living how I think I gotta live it. Shit, I've been through it. Most niggas crack when under pressure, but I'm used to it. Still, I'm true to it. Focused on keeping drugs moving. Know my life could change in a second if niggas catch me snoozing. Still, I remain one of the realest on the streets. Hot boy, chopper boy, street sweeping when it's beef. Flooded off that good green, got me annoyed, but I'm straight. Ride on haters for my niggas, and I'm coming to that weight. Drive-bys, kick those, it ain't nothing, it's all business. Slum lord in the city, King Kong of my gorillas. Big daddy to my bitches, bottom bitch remain nameless. Case you think you the one and you're not, I'ma keep it painless. 2 stripes on my shoulder, holding up the gold star. Soldier well trained for combat action, I'm ready for war. Gangsta, gangsta, thug niggas, how we live.